I'm Farhan Dalla, transformational trainer, and welcome to Elevate Your Life, a transformational podcast, an invitation to take the journey towards your deepest self. It is my intention to inspire you to connect, move, and meditate. We'll tap in, tune in, and dive in, and together learn and reflect from authentic, real, and transformative conversations. Let's get started. I'm so honored you've taken the time to join me on this journey. And I look forward to using this platform as a way of being service. In this first episode and season, I will be exploring the topic of grief, something that we as a collective are all experiencing. Since 2020, our lives have been rigged with loss, grief, and our individual and overall vibration on our planet is quite low. I wanted to create a platform and safe space to help elevate each of your lives, and I hope to include and share with you information that can give us all something to feel better about. Whether you're going through a tough time or want to feel uplifted, I would like this podcast to be a place where you can turn to. I plan on diving into my own personal struggles and to share with you the truth of my emotions with complete authenticity. And I want to share with you all the things I'm learning that is helping me through these difficult times. I will have incredible guests on this show that have helped me tremendously with my own journey with grief. Each one of them is helping to elevate our planet in their own unique way. The first season will address the topic of grief. We as a collective are experiencing loss. Individually, this could be the loss of the lives we once lived, perhaps the loss of a job, and the most unimaginable loss of that of a loved one. In some cases, like myself, many of you may be experiencing multiple losses. In this season of my first podcast titled Grief Relief, we get real honest about the emotions we are feeling, including myself, and we talk about it. I'm here to share, but I'm also here to witness your own grief. As I sit here talking into my microphone, I want you to know that I am witnessing your loss and here to share information to help elevate you by supporting your healing journey. As I sit here and share my story with you, please know that by listening, you too are supporting my own healing journey, and for that, I thank you. Please feel free to share your experience and feedback in the comment section if you're watching this on YouTube, or private message me directly. I want you to know I see you, I love you. On October 29th, 2020, in the midst of the pandemic and lockdown, my mother transitioned. As I talk about this, I realize how it's still painful and that I'm in the thickness of my own grief journey. So please bear with me, and I will try to do my best. For over 5 years, I was mom's full-time caregiver. And prior to that, I was also caregiving for my father and supporting my mom while she was his full-time caregiver. During Dad's last months and thereafter his passing, Mom's health declined. And so once a full-time caregiver to my dad, Mom then required caregiving herself. I want to say that caregiving isn't something you think is going to be part of your life or purpose. It's not something you anticipate or foresee as part of your future. It was not on my vision board, but caregiving was modeled to me from a very young age and into adulthood. Both my parents took care of their mothers, my grandmothers. They lived with us. We were always a home filled with family and extended family, and we took care of our elders. That is a value that I grew up learning and honored myself. So when the time came to care for mom and dad, it was in some ways natural to step up and help. I relied on how caregiving was modeled to me. And this, along with my education as a physiotherapist, allowed me to help take care of them. Mom and I have a very special bond. I choose to refer to that bond in the present tense because a bond of love, it never dies. And I believe can only get stronger even when our loved ones are on the other side. In reference to mom, as a son and caregiver, I manage mom's day-to-day life, including appointments to doctors and specialists, medications, much of the supervision she needed during the latter years of her life. And as I said, I was fortunate to have an education in physiotherapy. And I used that knowledge to make sure mom stayed active and physically healthy. Her mom had been in and out of rehabilitation multiple times because of falls and various other issues. And thankfully, with that knowledge, I was able to augment her care while she was in rehabilitation, as well as when she came home. We walked and did exercises almost every day. It was the hardest and also the most rewarding thing I have ever done in my life. Caregiving challenges you emotionally, physically, mentally, and financially. It comes with a lot of sacrifice, but I would do it all over again and in a heartbeat. I saw caregiving for my mom as a blessing, a way to be of service. It gave me a way to show love like I could never have dreamed of. Yes, I didn't expect my life to be this way, but I wouldn't change a thing. It brought mom and I close together. We spent every day together. Mom is this incredible being of light. And she touched everyone and made them feel special just by being who she was. She amazed me all the time. And I loved nothing more than being with her. We'd hold hands and shared a blanket in the winter months while watching TV to keep our legs warm. And, you know, as we would watch TV, she would often indulge in junk food most evenings. Okay, every evening. I miss her so much that sometimes it hurts to breathe. I miss her touch. Her gentle and sweet voice, her laugh, her warmth, her humor, the way she would say, "Have a great day," whenever I had to leave. And the way she would greet me when I'd come home, she'd always say, "Welcome home." She modeled such great resilience and family dedication. She showed me how to love. I um, I miss her hugs and her 3 kisses she gave me every night before bedtime. And whenever my hands were cold, she would say, "Here, give me your hands." And she would hold them and she would hold them until they were warm. And sometimes in the winter months when I'd be driving, I would have one hand on the steering wheel and the other mom would hold, warming them up. I I really miss the way she made me feel. We have this beautiful relationship, and if you ever followed us on my social media, you'd know what I'm talking about. Together, we inspired others to look at their relationship with their moms. Oftentimes, many reached out and told me how our bond made them want to spend more time with their own moms. Everywhere we went, we were stopped by strangers every single time, whether it was a doctor's office or the mall, getting her favorite coffee, which was French vanilla from Tim Hortons. People would just stop us and ask, "Is this your mom?" And I'd say yes. And they would tell us that they could see and feel our bond and how blessed we were. And they would say to her, "You have such a good son." And that always made me smile. But they especially wanted to say hello to mom because she is this radiant magnet of light that people were always drawn to. Whether you saw her in one of my social media videos of her doing her exercises or pictures, she somehow magically touched your life and made your day brighter. And that's the type of person she was. And I loved being around her. I am so blessed to have her as my mom and that I could have this incredible time with her. You know, to be honest, the pandemic was my blessing because I could spend our time in lockdown together. And for that, I will always be grateful. But I have to say that her transitioning broke me. It just broke me. To grieve for someone like mom is really a reflection of the honor it was to love her while she was in physical and to continue to love her while she's on the other side. The depth of my pain is more than proof of my love for her. I've said it before and I'll say it again. She is the greatest love of my life. But when she transitioned, a huge part of me died with her. My identity, everything I knew to be. She was my life for the past 5 years. For months after she transitioned, I woke up wondering, what is my why? What is my purpose now? I struggled to find a reason to wake up every morning. Most days I could barely get out of bed. And grieving for a parent or any loved one can begin before they die, especially if during your aging process or while you're caregiving for them, there's an illness of any kind. My grief journey includes the parts of mom and dad I lost even before they transitioned. I just didn't know it because of the demands that were in front of me of being a caregiver. And now I'm experiencing what I'm referring to as delayed onset grief, as well as the grief associated with their physical death. It's all very complex and difficult to discern because grief is grief after all. This is what I know of grief from my experience thus far. Grief feels like your whole body is covered in tar. Every breath, thought, and movement feels weighted and requires effort. It comes in waves, and each wave varies in magnitude and intensity. Some waves are short and brief in passing, while others feel like a never-ending tsunami. It can catch you off guard. Unexpectedly, you could be overcome with emotion and crying publicly, in your car, in your home. This is called a grief outburst. And essentially, it's like this buildup of emotions that suddenly comes to the surface without warning. Grief is an ache, empty, and heavy feeling. It just hurts. Its presence reminds me that I have all this love that I once gave to mom, but now I don't know where to put it. And grieving is not a linear process. You can experience any of the stages of grief, whether it's denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance in any order and in multiple stages at any one time. It's nothing you get over, but I'm learning it's something perhaps I'll get through. I don't know what the future holds. I just know what I'm feeling right now. And there are things, events, and memories that will trigger you, and there's nothing you can do to prevent or prepare for it. Your grief is as unique as you are, and no one grieves the same. You absolutely cannot rush healing. And personally, when I tried to push forward or push through, trying to be strong, trying to do what may have been expected of me, I crashed, I cried, I suffered from anxiety attacks. It was a disaster. I was a disaster. So I want to share with you what's been helping me, because there have been a lot of things and people and resources, and I I want to share this piece with you, but I also want you to know that I'll be exploring this in greater depth in my future episodes. But just to give you an overview and some highlights of the things that I've been doing that have been helping me. For starters, I want you to know that I continue to build my bond of love with mom because I believe she never really died. She transitioned, and with that comes a new relationship. It's not the same, it's just different. I can't hug her or kiss her and physically feel her, but I do feel her presence in a lot of ways. I spend a lot of time in nature, and nature has been so therapeutic and healing for me. If you've been following me on social media, you've seen my many stories on Instagram and Facebook of my walks in nature. Earth, water, air, and all natural living things connect me to me, and therefore my mom, because she's still a part of me. Nature synchronizes my vibration with the natural energy of all existence. And maybe as I'm saying these words, you've been experiencing it, but haven't been able to quite put it into words. But there's a synchronization that takes place when you're in nature. And that's why we feel off when we're locked down and stuck in our homes and not outdoors and not with living things. Nature takes me to my essence. And in that space, I feel me. I feel my mom and everything. It's important to be present. Being present to everything. And I mean everything I'm feeling. I believe what you suppress, your body will eventually express, and grief is no exception. When I feel a wave, I allow myself to feel it fully and deeply, giving myself permission to be authentic and honest with what is coming to the surface. And let's be honest, sometimes I medicate with chocolate. Now, I don't overindulge, but I certainly will have a piece or two of chocolate. But that's been getting better, to be honest. When I feel like I'm covered in that dense tar that I talked about, I visualize or imagine that I'm taking a shower with mom's love. And that shower of love is washing away all that tar. And it helps to make me feel lighter again. This journey could not have been possible without me asking for help. I cannot do this alone. I have regular grief counseling and the support of friends and family. This helps me feel like my grief is being witnessed. And all I ask for is for my counselors and friends to just listen and hold space for me. Grief counseling has helped me tremendously. My sessions have given me emotional support and guidance to help me heal from what I feel is one of the darkest moments of my life. And I've learned to be kind and gentle with myself. Lots of self-care. I've tried to take all that love that I have nowhere to give and have instead tried to give it to myself. And whether it's a sea salt bath with essential oils, reading an uplifting book, I've joined a book club, which has been incredible for me, restorative yoga, and releasing myself from high expectations of having to be productive and needing to accomplish things. All of that has helped me tremendously. Some days require just rest and stillness, because there's some days I'm on the couch and I can't get up and I don't want to talk to anyone and I don't feel like reading or I don't feel like watching TV. I just don't feel like doing anything. And that's okay too. Grief is an opportunity to learn and practice self-love and self-compassion. I start my day each day by looking at myself in the mirror and I say, Farhan, I love you. I really, really love you. And today I'm going to show you compassion. I also find ways to honor my mom. I have daily rituals that include prayer, lighting incense, and talking to her. I cook and eat some of her favorite foods. You know, mom's love is like no other love I've ever known. And her legacy is something I will do my best to honor every day. I have some ideas that I'm working on, and I'll share these in future podcast episodes. But if you are watching this episode on YouTube, you can see the portraits that I created behind me. And these portraits really were part of an idea that I had to honor mom's sense of style, because she just loved dressing up. Such a girly girl. But this particular project brought me so close to her, to touch and feel her clothes and fabric and frame them with her picture matching the outfit that I framed. It was an extraordinary spiritual and connective process, and very meditative. And I'll talk about that more in a future podcast. And finally, breath work and taking deep breaths has been of extraordinary benefit for me. Every breath fills me with life force energy, and it supports my body by reducing my stress response. And I can't wait to share a future podcast to explore this with you, because breathwork has been a game changer for me. It helps me to carry forward and reminds me not to take this life or any moment for granted. Breath is always the first and the last thing that we do in our lifetime. Grief it's a process like no other. It's transformative like no other journey I have ever experienced. It changes you in every way. But I suppose anything that changes you is a transformation. But grief has made me see the world through a different lens. It has softened me, made me more compassionate, especially to myself. It has made me look at the world differently and look at myself differently. It's made me re-question, re-examine, and reevaluate my life purpose. And one of the things that I questioned was whether my purpose was something that I needed to look for, or whether my purpose was something that found me. And I believe it's the latter. When I look back on my life, my purpose has always found me. And mom's transitioning has allowed me to birth this podcast. And this podcast is serving as an expression of my new purpose. And that is to share my story to help elevate the lives of all of you listeners who are in need of help and support in your own grief journey. And I hope this, as well as my social media posts, will offer you the support you are in need of. In the words of my teacher and mentor, John Holland, who is an amazing medium, he said to me in a phone conversation that we shared, one day when you remember your loved ones, you will smile instead of cry. And when he first said those words to me, I didn't think that I would ever smile again. But it's only recently, and it's been about 7 months since mom's transition, I've been able to smile. And it's because of the portraits that you see that I created that helped me get there. What I've learned is that the grief journey is here in your life to teach you impactful lessons if you choose to face the pain, to dive in and not run away from it. And when you do, you will not only learn what it's meant to teach you, but you will birth more than you could ever imagine that you could do with your life. And only sitting in the pain can do that for you. To sit in the discomfort. Grief is an invitation to life. It is an invitation to a life that's waiting for you. Grief is a process that will awaken you if you accept the invitation. And so, my friends, I will leave you with this question. Will you choose to accept, or will you choose to decline? I sincerely hope that you continue to join me along my journey, and together we can dive into the topic of grief. Perhaps we can support one another as we sit in the pain and discomfort. You don't have to do this alone. You can't do this alone. I can't do this alone. It is my hope that you learn, grow, expand, and elevate your lives. I'm Farhan Dalla, transformational trainer. Thank you for joining me. Please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed today's podcast. And again, please feel free to comment and share your experience and feedback with me. I wish you a wonderful day, and I send you angel blessings. Thank you. I'm Farhan Dalla. Thank you for taking the time to listen to today's episode of Elevate Your Life, a transformational podcast. I hope today's conversation has elevated you in some way and inspired you to connect, move, and meditate. I'd really appreciate your support by following and rating this podcast. Come back soon and join me for another transformative conversation.